Hello everybody, welcome to Of the Devil, I believe this game was called. Oh yep, right there. Sorry, I'm blind. I just got this game, don't know much about it, looked interesting, so let's get into it. Episode 0. I like the music. Sorry. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and the slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. Fix my mic there. The city's got an insomnia with the uneven heart rate to prove. There's no escaping the second-hand nervous energy of it all. But I'm plenty inclinated. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Cause if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Morgan, criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there are hardly any shadows of a doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen. There's light shining on every last pixel of the map, and someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity and anonymity and scarce. Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers, so you can take whatever clients you get. You don't balk at public defenders' work, no matter the hour. Should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke them if you got them. Not that there's much else I could do until my phone. Counseling, your public defender contract has been approved. You're expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. I'll try. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly a 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably make it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are gonna get busy. Damn. Of the Devil, episode 0. And he shall appear. We're a lawyer. Sales tutorial, you could turn them back on in settings. Nope, I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcome party. You hear about a homicide. High clearance rate be damned. You think they treat it with a little more gravitas, I can't read. But whatever, If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information like cash in my line of work, you gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can poke around and shake some chains loose. Press escape or click the phone icon in the top left to access the pause menu where you could save, load, and check settings. Got it. You can toggle auto text advance with the key or reread previous lines with the L key. Got it. Use the mouse to look around for points of interest that you can click on or press space to find them automatically. You'll earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can. Credit is both a measure of your information gathered skills and your own credibility. So don't go broke. Got it. Alright. Whoa. Okay, hold on. I don't know if that's a lot for you guys. That's a little loud for me. Alright. I think that's good. Nope, it's still super loud. Okay, hold on. There we go. Sorry, hold on. That's a little better. Alright, observation. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. Though museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty run, probably lots of unpacked boxes. The homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe that they were even so busy that they had witness making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe that they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Didn't you know that dramatic lighting wait, what? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah. Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel. And all during billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording, assuming the phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Read, examine, space, right? See everything. Oh, the medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made it. But my phone's made out of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. Could probably null a warrant. Could probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dual-fied scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-1 ratio of public health alerts. In offensive pop culture trivia, you always get served at state buildings. But there's a few missing persons too. 1 year of silver plane coverage courtesy of Kenkus as a reward for any blah blah blah. Okay. So there was no joke. Family must be getting desperate. Alright, and I think this is the last thing that we got to read. The data pad. I'll wait. Even when there's more advertisement than articles, they can still be information. Informative in a flower roundabout corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye for articles in the environment. They offer insight on the world around you and credit towards your investigation. Got it. Choose the proper takeaway after reading them and you'll earn additional bonus credits too. Nice. Declare the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded. City engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cables and erosion of key tunnels fixtures were cited as reason for why 89% of the subway system was evaluated as critically compromised or worse. Civil engineer efforts will focus on the maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walks, and skyscrapers into the canopy high above the city streets. Reaction to this announcement can be criticized as blasts. It's been years since the subway last ran and decades since the last ran on schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope on them ever making a comeback. Online chatter better reacts to the announcement, with most commenters and voters attending focus instead of growing investigations into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. It's one of the canopy's major brackets in the city. Alright, do I have to... What's this do? Whoa! Can I go back? Is there a way to go back? We'll go to reading. We'll go to the canopy. Choose the proper takeaway after okay. This is canopy now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment. Excuse me. Not when Councilman Long already thoroughly chummed the waters. Alright. Respect. High traffic hallways, utility furnishing, multiple screens situation. Propaganda blasphemy, so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. Can almost hear the building drone on and on about concentrate and iron. Oh, not auto. I want to read. I'm sure it was all very well improved in this back room of the building. Can I? How do I? There we go. But walking in here now with crime rates where they are, where are they? Feels like a hospic ward for heavy-handedness. Alright. I'm taking in all the scenery and learn as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. Aw, she's cute. Desk. It's booted up fine so far. It's so good. Good morning. Morgan here for the public defender contract? Yes, ma'am. Could you please provide your name and... Great. Please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call it intake hollows charming, more like harmless. That's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech, so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Can you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Scan my card, scan my face. I'd assume she'd have... scan my card. So why don't you just get my ID card? Great! Now could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birthday's on the damn ID card and my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem, my birthday's... Ruh-roh. October? Oh, profiles. December 26th, got it. December 26th. I didn't know there was stuff up here. December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to the client, you can process the counsel in quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to be better reflected state standards. Don't sweat it. I can keep track of every new emphasis either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room. They like. Doesn't change the way it makes a person feel. Sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection dull wrapped across gunmetal walls. Warden Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Choose a progress story, and the choices represent side topic will react differently to your mouse. You can also use the keys 1 through 5 on the keyboard to choose dialogue choices from top to bottom. Because of what you read earlier, you've unlocked an additional choice in this dialogue. Read and examine at every opportunity to build your own knowledge to get the most out of every conversation. Why the despair? No thank you. Yeah. I know the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards, but this is a police station? Why is it so goddamn dusty? This faculty is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months. I don't know if I should use the voice changer and give her a robot voice. Or like a female voice. Maybe. They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? Sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? They were gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. Let's try reading her with the female voice.
Thank you for asking. It's not as it has not interfered with my work.
Well, that's all that matters, right? No thanks. That'll be all. Thank you.
You'll find the consulting quarters past our homicide detective's office, through the door to your right.
Thanks. But I think it's just me for now. So could you go on break if you could go on break if you like.
Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor.
Then what were you doing before I walked in?
You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office.
Through the door to the right. Thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with. Eyes gone bad or something? Voice. No voice coming from down the hall. Oh, no. Voice is coming down from the hall. Compared to yours, probably? Thank God I stopped for directions. The building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and particularly low energy. Appreciate you Ryan about me. Odd forbid, I tried to be serious. Other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. And at this precinct, at this hour, they might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. Cause why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100 looks the same on the datapad. Anytime you question suspects, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. Wasn't gonna say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers? Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra handbooks around at these hours. Probably fastest to let the desk handle intake anyway. but mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you. Same here, Counselor. Chasm, London. And the ball of sunshine, here's my partner. Fair Rays. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Ha! Sorry if you were kept waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. But we're the detectives in charge of this particular case. It looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouse before. He never struck me as more than just some old timer, sorry. But I suppose being an old timer is an accomplishment in and of itself in this profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face though. Rigid in her posterior and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks iron. Freshly promoted, maybe. Freshly promoted, maybe. 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you're just the first to arrive on the scene. No, we're not nearly that timely and uninformed. Response to the emergency call within a few minutes. Calls plural? Must have been quite the commotion. Look around. Do you think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only trapped after circumstances at the scene indicated involved with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. So, you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't be put in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, eh? That's the heartbreaker killer in that room. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So, if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you pass the shitstorm on to some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at this moment. At the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about the heartbreak killer. They cover utilities at the rock you live under. Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him? I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes weave between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadditional anarchy to unappreciative vigilantism. At the street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in the exact kind of amateur detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. When it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the killer part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. The media have gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart, body left lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirls of every other 100 World article out there, catchiness trumps originality. What, you won't read about it online? Is that all 6 HK's victims were shot by the same gun? Without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know. But 6 for 6? It's plenty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a whole different beast. It takes a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even raise. I see. Sounds horrific. Sounds robotic. Sounds robotic. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No. It is not. There's no such thing as a killer robot, madam. Of course, I'm mistaken. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky, I guess they're all firing blinks. Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades, but they don't commit murder. Right. Evil like Heartbreak is all organic. That's pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders? Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it. HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is the Heartbreak Killer, and tonight was just his last crime? That's a serious accusation, with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back that up. I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery file and the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detectives. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, can I ask you 2 some questions while I've got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just the pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're gonna be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your client stew in the interrogation all night, for all I care. Tarot... Oh, you mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Read. Inspect. What else we got here? Is that anything? Nope. Alright, let's... Oh, observe. Yeah, let's observe. Loose wiring, missing panels, and air con system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget for making the office now looks like shit, huh? I expect to find a lot of belt tightening on homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bone. We've got a stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy. What with our dear dot surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So homicide ends up at the only state department with a shrinking budget. Dumping grounds for the police force most and at least and less popular. Let's read. Uh, Blasted by a strong earning report, syringe sales of the animated 16 Noble Electronics stock rose at a stunning 3% this week to a new recording high, while Noble latest interrogation yet to surpass the assured popularity of its predecessors and increased profit margins has left Noble's shareholders very enthused. Let's block it up so I don't read it. Oh. Many investors were skeptical when, at their now infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced that the 16th line would be the first generation of androids to feature of 50% organic components, so-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in the health, senior, and childcare sector, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the likes. And while some critics voiced concerns that the frigid religions of traditional groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-focused mind featured that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers, users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. However, as has often been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong. The animated 16 poised to break profitability records with no signs of slowing down, and many. How long is this? Oh god! All right, we're just gonna read the yellow parts. The work of the Noble Frame Leader Program, Dr. David Arshan, Noble Cheese of the Week. Dr. Arshan himself was nowhere to be seen. Okay, so the doctor went missing. Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Want to put in your account info so we can help you read? Okay. Your readings. He's in the news again. It's no wonder can't spit without it landing on a piece of double tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids though. For government use, they're just too expensive, too feral. I wouldn't think they would be too well, maybe too feral. All androids undergo wear and tear, especially if they're directing traffic or expensive crowds. So if these warm androids bleed pink all over themselves every time they take a rock to the cheek, it's just an endless stream of bad photo ops waiting to happen. It'd basically be like the Terminator, but they'd be like kind of more human. Maybe that's what he is. Maybe because he's so good at shooting the Heartbreak Killer, maybe he's a warm android. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much just for a little meat detector, London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system, or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned, or he's really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like a paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper, I'll give him that. Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Ray's desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mote of personality. She's so new she hasn't had the time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. Okay. Nothing else jumps at me around here. Got a better idea of who I'm dealing with, at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have been sent a lead. You've been granted access to the state files regarding case KL433511. Reply C to confirm. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. I'm talking to a person? I'm an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Personalities are tailored to suit your user preference. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. Case sensitive. C. Thank you. Link. Alright, if I project from my phone. That was a person. I don't think that was a guy. Jeebus. Augmented reality crime scene. Alright, let's see what the police have. And what they think is so important. Oh, I wish I could walk. That'd be cool. Okay, so 7 degrees. Not a broken self, dead person. Alright, let's look at the dead person first. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, class 5, blood loss, auto and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart, and brief death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under the nails. Blood spatter forensics and all that other good stuff tells them that she was shot from here. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. There's nothing. Oh, weapon. Murder weapon, a revolver, found right next to the body. 6 empty cases found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs particularly dismantled the damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly projectile would be an understatement. What if he's not the killer? What if he just showed up like wrong time? Anything else other? Oh, okay. Alright, let's look at the mirror. Stand-up mirror, shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arms, while shattered of glass were scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Last thing, seems like a vase got tossed aside at some point. Yet there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this, but no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown in. Whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris. Okay. Flag is irrelevant. That there's technical substance. Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay, that's everything that the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? Double checking if I missed anything. Ah! Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjuster, NSAIDs, and tripexosone and synthetic glucuronide medication. Take it daily to reduce rejection systems like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her tox screens was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is very incriminating, but the kicker, everything that's not here. No one of place data footprints, crumbs, nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Well, I've done more than with the less before, but not much more. I'm really gonna have to sing for my supper this time, but Better get started. Who the hell is messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Brett. Red. Well, couldn't wait until the morning. Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me that you violated parole. Lol, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and phrasing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. At least let me finish. What did they do? Make me run laps? Not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomach ache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Deprived indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HK? Oh, heartbreak killer. Is that the kind of morbid things kids your age talk about? Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like Hardy B is like quaint. It's not heartbreak. Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see that 98% of commitment rates as a challenge or something. You take up lost causes pro bono work. It's pro bono's work. It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know they gave lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concern nagging. Maybe you really are bleeding heart. We're just a sucker. Not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday? Because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 AM, kid. You got school in like 3 hours. Shit! Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text messages, I take it. Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Anders and Cobb's heartbreak timeline. I think I'm gonna have to answer all of these, but let's do this one first. By the way, couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? Thought there would be at least a few androids around. Aren't many androids in the police station this week. Not while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest robotic corp there is. Couldn't spend all day in a center city without leaving their office shadows. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquarters here. Saves us the money on shipping at least. But these tucks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the week, end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids. Warm, yeah. Might as well call it adult line. Might see him in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Yet? Really? Well, any day now. Guess we should suspect those any day now. Maybe android lawyers too. Get some android politicians in and we'd have the full set. Get real, people might like ads who do whatever they're told, but they despise ads who tell them what to do. Not so sure. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already got all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years. Might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified it's only the only real union there is anymore. Let's talk about the details. So, how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client Carlos Baker Flat was arrested on scene at 9:50 p.m. using his middle name already. They really do think he's a serial killer. Charged being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Dane Dawn. First degree, that's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times, and that makes him sane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their abilities to think ahead. So what makes you think that this was permitted? Sorry. How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same field. With weeks of... Oh, god damn it. Hold on. Go back. Is it log? None of them knew each other, lived near... Okay, yeah, I read that. Weeks of digital autopsies, crawling up and down online profiles, nothing. Okay. So this serial killer chooses his victims at random if they have nothing in common. Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than they all look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes with the same height. Wait, maybe he's trying to kill London, or not London, Reyes. Well, the features aren't exactly uncommon. Could it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. Each case got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gotta try and tell me you don't see the resemblance. Young woman with brown hair and brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from the portrait, but I could take the hint. So you think what exactly? That Carlos Flatton wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, the shoe fits. The shoe fits? Then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. It's probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that you can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsal for the night's main event. But if that were the case, they'd been signs of hesitation and nerves. There'd be a mistake. There'd been a mistake. On top of which, guns are in personal execution shots, even more so. Yeah, if they really wanted to, they'd probably get more up close and personal. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Yeah, they would want to get up close and like. I know if I was mad or like insane or like if I wanted to hurt somebody, I would be like, you know, give them the 1-2. Alright, I'll shut up. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less thorough, if you ask me. Is she a killer? You think she's a killer too? What if she's the Heartbreak Killer? That'd be crazy. Heartbreak. But then I wouldn't get it either. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crime as a secret. The less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real way to read. It's not just journalism, though. All kinds have been embottled. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks? Can you blame them, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are endangered species, but he's gotten away with it. We know what he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registers robust enough that case never goes cold. Cameras in every street and phone, every citizen. Violent crimes at an all-time low and clearance rate at all-time highs. But you gotta spout some alt-pol bullshit, this invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than any other time in history, detective. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along, good point. Haha. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher ups must be reaching its peak. They maybe need to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Tamar Masov still dictate we starve the media for case details. That way we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the op and crime surveillance systems. How's that even possible? I know that there's some rough areas around the lower wards, but optic is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You think that we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? But wait, what? That's how? In order to concentrate, madam, but Octopus is the only way to say his name. I want to understand your concentration, ma'am, but optics is the only way to say it. Say the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed it to the state security network. It's not perfect. Just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes. Ow. Or at least act as a department. Dang. One would hope so. Fat chance deterrent are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this could care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it. But It does have holes. Picking up those remaining holes takes effort. That effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. But the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. Those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You'll need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, and city planning. They mentioned in if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have need a public defender either. His file says he's a modded for heavy math manipulation, not tech interfacing, so that just leaves city planning. So does he work construction for the city? I mean, that wouldn't make sense. HK is only ever struck at times in locations where optic would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying that this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right on schedule, so to speak. Jesus, I got the yawns. And it includes the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about a DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. It probably was a robot. Or a warm-bodied android. Like, cause like, what if they, for the androids, like, they gain a personality, or like they go crazy, like in Cyberpunk they get like a cyber psychosis, and they just like have this like image in their head of like someone who they knew or used to know, and just like get like going crazy. Or what if they're using parts from like serial killers? Also, no motivation, tampering, or witnesses. It's been likely hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Till now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up, with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But 8K is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we ever caught him tonight was because he's finished what he had set out to do all along. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some exes, a few CIs, someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. Okay, so there was talk about starting some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. So like, okay, so he was there, right? They're like, oh, you did it because you were there and your fingerprints are on the gun. But like, what if someone like knocked, she answered the door, someone shot her, he was with her, and he's like, here, catch, and he like they threw the gun to him, but like no bullets. And like, you're not just gonna leave your shot girlfriend there on the floor to die by herself. You're gonna just stay there and like, make sure she's okay. But then the police get there, ambulance get there, and then they see like you, a dead body, and then the gun, and they take you and her like to the police station in the hospital, and then they do their work, and the gun has your fingerprints because someone threw you the gun. Unless he actually did it and he just wore gloves, and, he city planning. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing like they have the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Timeline. I saw the time of death was 9 PM on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth, but we've managed thanks to less based sources, and are pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statement. So they interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 PM. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about the happy couple domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew that they'd be fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered, but things go quiet sometime before 9 PM. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubs are still scrubbing, looking for audio for the area to get timestamped. But we heard from enough concerned citizens that it's pretty damn sure about the time. Right, emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 PM. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrived on the street at 9:08 PM, establishing a perimeter entirely through the open front door at 9:10 PM. Then they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hands covered in her blood, at which point they moved to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand signature? Oh, his hand singular? Your client modded cybernetic right arm. Oh, wait, she was holding the pills, right? That contain the stuff for like help with like itchiness or like with phantom pain. What if that's for him? That's his pills. So why? Maybe he like recently lost an arm, or his arm, and then like they've been fighting for weeks because he hates it. She just wants to be supportive. How modded are we talking here? Registered with the HAL 85 Habilis industry graded, it looks like. Says he's suspected of dexterous manipulation up to class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Huh. Considering a career, maybe it's for construction. Needs a strong hand. Considering a career change? Nope, it's not that. It's just your eye must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you just had 14-year-old sense of fashion. You think a cop wouldn't cover her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? But getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. Can't work without it. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance they'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. The client was arrested on the scene after primarily scan found his fingerprint on the revolver. And no one else's. Revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54 6-chamber 10mm. Calver. How retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How's that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp, trigger pulled, safety's coded to own biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags of made shooting crime very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he would have gotten away with this 5 other times? Wait, how old? Okay, I need to see something. Okay, maybe we don't get to see him profiles. Flat. July 8th. Blood type -B. Wait, man. Okay, how old is this man? Skill valve. No affirmation, brother. Heartbreak. Yeah, no. Criminal conduct. How else do you think you're okay? If he tried to buy a gun legit, he probably failed the very first psych check. Even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before an update withdrawal set in. So then, M54, that's modded year 2054, or model year 2054. 30-year-old gun? Well, then that sure complicates things, doesn't it? Some way, sure, but pre-tagged firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country. Fewer still capable of compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old too. The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. Now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig, but with the protocol they found that texts were available to match the rifling mark on it. All 6 bullets of the gun your client was found with rifling marks. Bullets fired from the gun that old are marked by the barrel shape. So if all 6 bullets have the same rifling mark, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. It's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally persistent, I assure you. If that not a damning enough, that suspense cases from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. Caliber client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. Watch me. An untagged gun just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just summarizing. You believe that my client fought verbally and then physically with his girlfriend, and they retrieved his weapon and shot her. Yeah, pretty much. That wouldn't make any sense though. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty? How is his effect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost him some points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. So, he could have been a shot. And so long as the police aren't suspected of you. Thanks for that chat detective. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same stroke you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convict anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Well, that's unsuspected, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. It's not his handwriting. We have to wait. Was that just the only writing he did for his girlfriend? We have to manage to go past everyone in fraud and disfo to get to the front of that line. Why bother? That note's covered in his fingerprints and just copying the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading. I have to manage somehow. I need to see his confession for myself. Sorry for everything I did. Oh, hold on. Crap, my recording thing is in the way. Let's move that. Alright. Sorry for everything I did. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first. But I was hurting. Wanted to hurt you too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That was difficult to read. Very legitimate, in fact. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. Not one he intended to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flushed with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. That's for you and your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously though, I like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off if you don't mind. Mic's on or off? I'll call counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuffs, that is, stay on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor is practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Also, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense attorney isn't just a show detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting another away, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime. There ever was one. And even if the death penalty is not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not gonna like whatever rehabilitation plan they drop for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometimes in the next decade maybe. Just remember, plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, that's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty, that much is true. Saves the court a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. Anyone convinced for killing 6 people? They'll never rest their mind another day in their life. 3:35 a.m. June 5th, 2086. Alright. Before we keep going, reading this Subway, but okay. I'm gonna leave this here. If you're enjoying this episode and you want to watch more of it, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all the good stuff. And we will be back in the other episode. Because I kind of like this, and I'm kind of enjoying it. And sorry for my bad reading. I can't read. But until then, ladies, gents, and all those lovely fellows, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.